It's not even been a year since Kamala got her clock cleaned by Trump in the presidential election, but clearly she thinks it could be different next time.
Could it be you? Possibly. Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
But you say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done.
When you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, is that underestimating you?
I think there are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls.
Well, she doesn't listen, period. Not to polls and certainly not to voters who are screaming, listen, no, 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 please. And Gavin Newsom's been fantasizing about moving into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as well.
After the 2026 midterms, you're going to give it serious thought.
Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise. I'd just be lying, and I can't do that.
Oh, no, he never lies. Yeah, you do lie, and you have a lot. Like when you told us that L.A. was, it didn't need federal help, things were okay in those riots, or that permitting the wildfires would all be expedited. It's taking forever. Look at Malibu. Let's face it, Gavin Newsom oozes inauthenticity, right down to his new phony accent when he was talking about growing up raised by a single mom.
It was also about paying the bills, man. And it was just like hustling. And so I was out there kind of raising myself, turning on the TV, started, just getting obsessed, sitting there with the Wonder Bread, macaroni and cheese.
Bro. Are you talking about me?
Young YG.
YG,
But
man.
every day in the backyard, just bouncing the basketball.
It went on and on. It's actually called dribbling. But before we get to 2028, we're in the final sprint ahead of next Tuesday's election. Here to discuss is special report anchor Bret Baier, also the author of the new massive bestseller, To Rescue the American Spirit, Teddy Roosevelt, and the Birth of a Superpower. Bret, I follow you on Instagram, and I think you might be logging in more miles than President Trump. Okay, you're everywhere, and I love it. I've been watching you. Fantastic, and congrats on the book.
Thank you, Laura.
So, Bret, I talked about the New York City mayoral race and the angle, but there's also this Virginia and New Jersey gubernatorial off-year elections. Could these serve, in your mind, as a bellwether for the midterms if Republicans even manage to win one?
Yeah, Laura, good evening. I'm coming to you from the Richard Nixon Presidential Library. Getting ready to have an event tonight, but I do think that these races are tightening as they get closer to Election Day. And you look at the polls, they're within single digits. If you're talking about a purple state where the Democratic candidate was supposed to run away with it in both of these cases, in New Jersey and Virginia, and you have a Republican who's closing in the final days in both cases, I think that is a bellwether of this fight is really there, and that it tells you a story about 26. I think some of the story is that the Democratic Party is split, and the oxygen and the power is really on the far left side of the party. And, there's still obviously a large part that's center left looking for other candidates.
And Abigail Spanberger is caught between a rock and a hard place on the trans issue and on Jay Jones. And so she's forced to go to the left, even though that state really isn't a hard left state, certainly never has been, at least, and it doesn't seem to look like one now.
Exactly. I think Virginia is a perfect case in that, there will be a time where we look at the polls ahead of Election Day that should paint a picture, but I'd be careful about polls because remember the New Jersey race last time where Chitterelli, we had him down about 20 points. It finished, single digits, low single digits. And now he's, 5, 6 points, depending on the polls. Mikey Sherrill has not been the best candidate. And I think that both of these candidates are closing.
Bret, an interesting moment aboard Air Force One. It's a long trip for the president to Asia, and he likes to gaggle and talk to the reporters. And he was talking about 2028 and what the Republican ticket could look like then. Let's watch.
We have one of them standing right here. We have J.D., obviously. The vice president is great. I think Marco's great. I think, I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable.
Marco Rubio sitting there going, please don't mention me. So he's like, don't mention me.
Shaking his head.
Yeah. What do you think
Exactly.
about that?
I will note that every time, Laura, that he's asked about 28, besides saying, well, I'd like to run if I could, he says, well, you know, Marco. He throws Marco's name in there. And I don't know whether that's to create the competition between J.D. Vance, as vice president, and the Secretary of State, but he does give Marco a lot of props. He also sometimes says that the two of them could run together right out of the gate and be very formidable against any Democrat that he sees on the horizon.
Now, before I let you go, Bret, and before you get to your event at the Nixon Library, the most surprising, I've had the chance to read the beginning of your book, but I'm going to get through it, and I can't wait to get through the whole thing, but I read a lot about Roosevelt. There's so many great anecdotes about his life and his spirit and his athleticism and his zeal for America and the outdoors. But what was the one anecdote about his life that, in your view, was illustrative of what his political career would ultimately mean for the country?
First of all, he's larger than life, and he is consequential. And you look at all the things that are a result of Teddy Roosevelt around the country. The most surprising thing, though, that I saw was how much of a family man he was, how much he was into his family, how much that drove his life. It led him to real despair and horrible feelings after his wife and mother die on the same night. And he eventually dies after his son is killed in World War I as a fighter pilot. But he spent his time in the White House with his 6 kids, playing with them every day, kind of running around the halls of the White House. Stories that really are something.
Yeah, and relatable in today's society. You didn't think of a man back then kind of playing around with his kids so much, but that was one of the many stories in your book. Bret, congratulations. Come back to D.C. soon. We miss you. But congrats on another massive bestseller.
I'll be there.
Bret Baier, we miss you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.